various locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the 40th anniversary season of the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing, co-hosts Brian Schmidt, PJ Noodleman, and producer Dangerous Dan Margetta. Call the show anytime at 414-421-7901. And now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
Well, I don't want to say it's a, slow time of year, but right now, the biggest thing we're worried about is if the drones are going to attack New Jersey. That's beautiful, isn't it? Hello there, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three faithful, loyal, and longtime partners, beginning with Brian Schmidt over in Oostburg, Wisconsin. Hi.
Morning. Only 10 days away from Christmas. That's hard to believe. Where has the time gone?
It's crazy, isn't it? PJ Noodleman over on the other coast of Wisconsin in Trumbull.
Happy to be here as the season winds down and hopefully more rumors ramping up, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. Dan Margetta, who's in St. Francis, Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. We spent some time at the PRI show in Indianapolis, looking around with Dan Casey, kind of getting us some interest for the Slinger Nationals lap money, which was pretty successful, and talking to some people about the stuff going on and representing the radio show.
He used to do that show regularly when he was selling stuff. But it's really the who's who of racing, not just stock cars. It's every sort of racing that there is, right?
Yeah, pretty much every sort of automotive thing that there is. Every kind of drag racing to short track racing to asphalt racing to dirt racing and even like street rods and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a huge show. I mean, it takes more than a day. If you think you're going to go down there and get it all done in a day, you're mistaken because it's that big.
And it's a who's who really walking around too, right? Or are they all in booths?
No, most people are walking around. I mean, you have people that work in different booths from the different companies, but as far as drivers that way or something, I saw Justin Allgaier there, Kenny Schrader was there, a bunch of people, they're all kind of incognito because, they're all walking around like regular people, so it's kind of cool.
Just like regular people. I love that. That's pretty great. We didn't learn anything new and exciting, did we?
Nothing huge. I mean, there's been some news coming out of there, but nothing like was earth-shattering. In the past, I think a lot of people would wait to that show to announce things. Now they kind of just announce them as they come. There's plenty of media running around there too, and a lot of people doing like podcasts and some video stuff for online things. Hoosier had a big booth there, a bunch of drivers. Our own Jim Schrader was in there interviewing people all day long. He worked quite a bit with the different people getting pushed through there on their stage, and a crowd gathers to watch. If it's somebody like Tony Stewart, a lot of people are there, paying attention.
I would think so. And it must be a real pleasure to go with Dan Casey, who, by the way, is the guy behind the lap sponsorship money at the Slinger Nationals every year. So
brilliant.
You'll know who he is. Yeah, he's a hustler and one of the good guys. That's for sure. So I would imagine that was a kind of a fun time. Did you spend a night?
Yeah, we went down, left Thursday morning, went down there Thursday, saw half the show there, stayed over Thursday night, went back to the show Friday throughout the morning and early afternoon, and then came back Friday night. Yeah, it was fun. We met a lot of...
Were you hungover yet when you came home?
No, we didn't hit it as hard as some of the people do out there. We went on a little bit on Thursday night, more towards Speedway by the racetrack. I stayed over by the airport. I didn't stay right downtown because the prices to stay downtown are pretty high. So we went down. Speedway is kind of a nice little deal right by the racetrack. They kind of did that a couple years ago where they built that whole downtown up. There's some bars, restaurants, and places there. We went back and at the hotel and checked out the hotel bar for a while and made some friends from Eagle River. There was a guy there from that raced off-road trucks.
And they're all down for PRI?
They're all there for PRI. It's kind of a big deal down there. I mean, everybody comes into town, and you can see it when you get downtown because it's kind of crowded. And everybody's got race gear on, so you know where they're going.
Yep, and it's not just like our idea of stock car racing. It's every form of racing that goes and has booths there.
That's really a cool thing. Ed, I think if I remember, Ed sold wheels there over the years and on other parts of people that he represented too, right?
He was a part of HRP right up until like the last year or so there, right, Dan? He was always down there with Jeff Wessel and those people.
Yep, yeah, they were there. They had their booth in the same spot, right where it normally is. Talked to them, and right across from the World Outlaws, we're across the way, and spent some time there. There's all the different series. The Stars Tour had a booth there. 5 Star had a big booth there with a new IMCA stock car body, which is pretty wild. I didn't think it was a dirt car. I didn't realize they were telling me about it, and that's going to be a big deal. And that Crown Vic series, which is huge apparently everywhere, they make a nose for it. 5 Star actually has a Crown Vic nose now.
Wow. God.
And
well, there's so many ratty police cars driving around. You might as well fix the front ends on them.
Corey Schultz said they made like 6 million of them. They're everywhere, so people are running those. And the guy at Salem down in Indiana, they get over 100 a week.
Well, that's what Cletus McFarland started doing down at his track at Freedom Factory. Yeah, so it's huge. We've had him at Lacrosse too during the Refner race.
He has a big event at Bristol every year with those Crown Vics.
Yes.
During a holiday weekend. I forget which one it is, but it's a big deal. He brings in like all these different podcasters and people that people know and throw them in these Crown Vics and they race at Bristol.
Oh, that's funny. Crown Victoria Racing. By the way, you mentioned ASA had a booth there. Did we learn anything new from ASA this week?
I mean, their schedules were out. They released the CRA part of them, had their the Jakes Tour schedule and the Southern Super Series, which is going to end at New Smyrna this year for that Governor's Cup race. I think it's November 9th, which is weird. You're going to have a lot of races in Florida in a short stretch. You'll have New Smyrna, then a couple, like 2 weeks later, they'll be at the Freedom Factory, and then the Snowball. So that looks like that's all happening next year for that. They have their Stars Tour schedule. Obviously, we have Madison on a Friday night in June, and then Father's Day at Slinger. That's the big one. A lot of people, and I was standing by that booth, a lot of people that came up and talked to them were very excited about coming back to Slinger, going to Slinger for the first time for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no kidding. There has been one ASA race at Slinger Speedway, and it was many years back. It was in the early 80s, before my time, actually. Mark Martin won it in Jerry Gunderman's car, and I think it was in Gunderman's car. Geez, maybe it was in Ribel's car at the time. I can't even, since I wasn't there, I'm just guessing on that. But I think it was a 300 lapper, and I think he won by more than a lap. So
that was a lot of the talk that were kind of figuring out how many laps that race is going to be. I don't know if I ever got an official number of what it would be. Just because he didn't want something being that long, because then, you run with a track that small, that's what you end up with. You end up with a lot of cars and multiple laps. Now, I think you need to keep it like, at 150. I don't think it can be 200 because you don't want to overshadow the Nationals. That's the big race, I think, up there. So I don't think it'll be as much as 200, but I'm looking at like 125, 150.
The Stars does the stage racing similar to NASCAR, so that should help from having, a really
fuel.
Green flag run. So
the other thing,
300. You could do like a 300 lapper there and 100, 100, and 100.
Yeah, but I don't think you want to have more Nationals. I think the Nationals are still the main.
Agreed. The ASA Stars also added, they increased their purse, so for 2025 it's going to be over $1 million paid out. So 12 race schedule for them.
Very good. And a couple of them in the state of Wisconsin. That's good news, but all the way. If you'd like to participate today and bring up any subject you want to, we have that number that's still very good, 414-421-7901 is what you would call and weigh in on anything we're talking about or anything anybody else is talking about. This yesterday would have been Alan Kowicki's 70th birthday. And that's why it was shown, the Kowicki banquet was shown last night, even though it used to be live. I don't know. They must have, would they tape it earlier in the week or something? Tape it.
I think it was because of scheduling issues. They've got the new PRI was this weekend as well, so there was just a lot of things going on.
Okay. So it was put, and who's carrying it? Where can you watch it? Is it on
Racing America?
Racing America. All right. Just keep that in mind. That's the same site that Slinger weekly shows were on.
And this year's Kowicki Cup winner, Ty Fredrickson, has committed to run the entire ASA Stars Tour.
Yeah, he'll do well. That's he's certainly got some talent for a 15-year-old. My God, think about it. I was running around pulling girls' hair when I was 15, and this kid's a champion. Imagine. We'll be back.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. Plus potted trees you can decorate now and plant in the spring. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
And now, all trees and wreaths are 50% off until they are gone.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The checkered flag is waved over the racing season at the Fair Park in Plymouth. Congratulations to the champions, Brad Miller, Will Source, Travis Schmidt, and Ben Schmidt. Plymouth Dirt Track Racing thanks all the drivers and pit crews for their ongoing dedication. The loyal, dedicated track workers are the best at what they do every week. A big thank you also to the many businesses for their sponsorships. And, of course, the fans who make it all possible. The green flag will wave for another season next spring. We'll see you there.
Upgo from the left circle with a shot. He scores! After a quick one-game homestand, the Admirals are back on the road Sunday when they travel to Rockford to take on the IceHawks. Big handle around one. Goes to the net. Save made. Wallstead. Now it's a goal for the Admirals. Pre-game coverage at 3:30. Face-off at 4 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to LTN. So lovely of you to join us. The next racing is going to be the Chili Bowl. I think they're at least major event. Or do they... Brian, I think they go to Tulsa before the Chili Bowl and race another midget event before.
Well, the micro sprints. They have micro sprints and stuff like that. The major event is right after the New Year is the Wild West Shootout in Novato, New Mexico for the late models and the modifieds. That's going to be the 4th, 5th, and then the week after that. So other years, the Wild West Shootout and the Chili Bowl have overlapped. This year it will not.
Is Votto going to be shown on anything?
Yep, that's Flow. That's a Flow event.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So New Year's is on Wednesday. There'll be racing on Saturday. No rest for dirt guys.
Good God. It's amazing to me. Let's put it this way. There's so many streaming services out there right now. And you'd say, well, I want to have a good streaming service that has a lot of races that I'm interested in, and I would like to spend it, let's say, buy a 1-year subscription. Which one would we all purchase? I went ahead and did Flow for myself, and I think I probably did good. I like that more and more things are showing up on Flow since I paid for it. Dirt Vision is a good one, but it's pretty expensive, right?
Well, those are the two big ones, Dirt Vision and Flow. So anything that has to do with the World of Outlaws, which is the World of Outlaw late models, World of Outlaw sprint cars, UMP Summer Nationals, anything under that World Racing Group category, big block modifieds, all that stuff is on Dirt Vision. And then you have Flow, which has just about anything that has to do with USAC, Lucas Oil, the high limit sprint car thing. And then they have a mixed match of other, I think the Cars Tour is now on Flow. So there's no asphalt stuff on Dirt Vision. So if you're into asphalt, you're going to get some of that out of Flow. But, I mean, Flow probably has the biggest, I would say, footprint right now of everything. And it's not just, you pay your $150, you get all their sports stuff, too. So if you're into the basketball or hockey or wrestling or bowling or gymnastics or anything like that, or you have, a grandson or grandchild.
Baseball.
You get all that stuff on there. There's people that buy a subscription to that because their kid plays for a smaller university and then they can watch all their games. Yeah. It's all a part of the same subscription.
It's a huge network of stuff they have.
Yeah. Here, like for races around here, you're pretty much going to find them on Track TV, which will have the Stars and the Midwest Tour. Pit Road TV has the Dells. So those are the two around here. And of course, Racing America was with Slinger. So you're kind of fractured up here where they're not all in one. But that is kind of what it is right now. I mean, we'll see how it all shakes out as it goes on.
That's you can spend a lot of money doing this, and that's why I tried to, IMCA.TV. Now, there's one I would watch if it wasn't so damned expensive. I don't know. Is there a yearly rate for it? Their events are like $27.99 a piece. It's ridiculous if you want to start watching some of the bigger events. I mean, it's
a lot for a single event. Most ones up here have monthly, packages where you can pay like $25 a month, and if you hit it right, you can probably get 5 races or 6 races in there. Well,
that's like on Track TV, correct?
Right, correct. And Pit Road's kind of the same way. I mean, they cover everything. They got races this week already. Track TV does the Super Series and most of all the asphalt stuff right now. The Midwest Tour, the Stars Tour, and some of the bigger events that way. But if you hit it right, then you can just look at the schedules. For your 1 monthly deal, you'll probably get about 5-6 races or even 7.
And IMCA TV is very similar to a good friend of ours, Chris Steppen, owns Watch FYE, which does a lot of the stuff to the northwest of us with soda and all that. And he was explaining to us once when we were having dinner, the way he does that is, he charges per event because he has to give money back to the track. So he's like, all right, if I'm going to, and it's usually more than what it is to buy a ticket. And he says the reason he does that is because you're going to get all your buddies over to watch anyway. So he says instead of getting, 5 of you go to the track at, $20 a piece, he's going to charge you $30 to watch the event, which is still less, but 4 or 5 of you are going to watch it. That way he's giving some more back to the track because his platform isn't as big as like Flow. Flow is doing major events where you have major sponsorship money. Track's going to be full anyway of people, and they give a lot of money back. I mean, last week, for instance, the Snowball Derby, the amount of viewers Flow had, I mean, that's single-handedly what got the purse to where it was. Now, these smaller ones, IMCA TV, Watch FYE, all these little smaller ones, they have to charge a little bit more because you're not getting as many eyeballs on it, and you might be taking some people away from the track. So it kind of goes both ways. You have your major streaming services, and you have your ones that aren't quite as big who have to charge a little bit more to cover for the loss of people going to the event, if that makes sense.
Live across the street from the track. I mean, you're not going to be watching it on TV, I would think. I mean,
I don't know.
It's weird how things have changed. Hey, so you said Vado is going to be the first event on January 4th and 5th. That's on Flow.
Yep.
The Chili Bowl coming up. Did you mention what that's going to be on?
The Chili Bowl is also on Flow, and that is I think that starts on Monday, the 13th of January is when that gets going.
13th through the 18th, and then in between there is that Tulsa thing for those who would watch. Well, I wouldn't watch that normally, but that's Kyle Busch shows up for last week.
Oh, yeah.
And he's doing the Chili Bowl, too.
Yeah, for the first time in a midget this year. He had several videos of him.
Just coming back. Right? Christopher Bell's going to be in it as well. That's the one guy Kyle Larson can't beat there, it seems.
Christopher Bell is already back in a car, and that's a tease for the dirt results later. But he's already back in his dirt stuff. He wasted no time after they gave him the freedom to go racing again, and he did quite well.
That's spectacular. So there's going to be things that we'll be able to watch and comment on during the rest of the off season. 7 weeks to the it's 49 days. Yeah, gee whiz, it's coming fast to the Clash, and it's not even Christmas yet. Which reminds me. Next week will be our final show of the year. I wasn't sure, and I said something, I think, after the program last week about what our schedule was going to be, but we are only going to take 1 week off this year instead of our usual 2 weeks. It's going to be the show in between the holidays, and so next week will be our last show of the year, and we'll be back after the first Sunday in January, which I don't have a calendar right in front of me. It's something like about the 5th or thereabouts, I think. So
yes, the 5th.
Okay, and that's where we will begin our 41st season. And we'll invite everybody back for that here on Fox Sports 920, exclusively in Milwaukee. We're going to sneak away. You want to call us? You could always do that. We'll be back.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer, no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer, just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Sunday, the Packers travel to Seattle for a primetime matchup with the Seahawks.
Jacobs barrels into the end zone for the touchdown.
Doug Russell is live with the Potawatomi Sportsbook pregame show at 3 on Milwaukee's home for Packers football. 97.3 The Game.
I swear we should get some ambulance chase and lawyer firm to sponsor us when we give legal updates on this program, and it's pretty bad that we have to have that these days. But Dan has been keeping his nose on this on the legal positioning that's been going on. NASCAR this week, apparently, from what I understand, said we're not going to allow any transfer of charters unless you drop the lawsuit. And that's the latest, right?
Well, they didn't come out and officially say that, but that's kind of what was inferred. And that's kind of actually, if like Bob Pockrass does a good job updating this. Matt Weaver put a deal out yesterday on his page that kind of laid everything out from the beginning and kind of simplified everything. But they have those motions going back and forth for this injunction, and the last one, the teams filed that said, here's our real harm. It was most of it was redacted. It was like emails from drivers that it was all redacted. We don't know who it was from. Most people thought it was maybe from Reddick that said that they can leave if we don't drive a chartered car. We can lose drivers and sponsors. NASCAR replied and said, well, that's all speculation. They're not saying they're going to leave. You haven't proved that yet. And basically, we had this negotiation and it didn't go your way, and this is all this is. They kind of accused them of making an email campaign to drudge all this up to say they could do it. And I thought they were okay there. And then I think this is where they miscalculated. They put in the deal with the Stewart-Haas charters, where they said, well, and plus, you already have these charters from Stewart-Haas that are under the terms that you're not agreeing to, so how can we agree to the transfer to that? And I get where they were coming from, but I think they should have left that off till later, because the teams responded and said, hey, that's exactly what we're talking about here. You agreed to let us have these charters that we purchased from Stewart-Haas, and now you're saying you can't because it's under the terms that we apparently don't agree with, and now we don't have these either. And Stewart-Haas is saying, hey, we sold this $20 million plus dollars.
I want my money.
Right. How can you do this? And that's, I think, where NASCAR kind of miscalculated, because of that in there, that kind of shows some, anti-competitive behavior kind of deal. And because they immediately filed after that to say, hey, okay, the Stewart-Haas charters are a totally separate deal. They're not part of this lawsuit. That should be determined by an arbitrator, not the court, and that's not part of this case. Well, the teams are saying, hell yeah, it is part of this case because it's all part of the charters. And I think that's where NASCAR kind of got themselves kind of in a bind. They changed judges. The original judge is out now. Apparently he's retiring or something. They got a new judge in that was appointed a lot newer than this other guy. So who knows what he's going to see things like. But it's kind of a mess now, I think, with that Stewart-Haas thing thrown in there. If they allow that to stay as part of this, I think that helps the teams. If they know that is something separate and the arbitrator should decide, that helps NASCAR. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Boy, oh boy. To be a lawyer, you need to be a lawyer nowadays in NASCAR. It's just gotten out of control. All right, well, if you have any thoughts on that, we'd love to hear that or whatever. Can you believe it? We have a caller from Jacksonville, Florida, who's been waiting patiently to talk to us. We were on the air in Jacksonville, Florida, I think, for 1 or 2 shows back in the day. Hi, Charles. Welcome to the program.
Hey, guys. Yes, I listen every Sunday. I call you guys maybe like once a year. So, yeah, you're on in 1999 for a little
That's
while.
when we were on down there?
Yep. That's where I found you. Local AM station.
Too, right?
It was multiple weeks, and then it just kind of went away with no explanation. So,
we didn't even know they were going to put us on there in the first place. Now, we were talking about Florida, right? We were on in Jacksonville, North Carolina for a while. But you're in
and
Florida.
Palm Springs, California. I remember that.
That's beautiful. Well, thanks for listening.
I wanted to ask this be a question for Dan. He was talking about the PRI show. It made me think about this. Asphalt super late models are my favorite form of racing. When are they going to get away from these, what I call these old, tired fusion bodies? And, it hasn't been made since 2014. The late model stocks run Camaros, Mustangs, but the super late models, the pro late models run these old, just bodies that aren't made anymore.
Remember a couple years ago, that was a big deal when Five Star came out with that new body, and then they weren't sure if they're going to approve it places, and they wanted to update the bodies, and a lot of the teams had so much information on the old style bodies and how to run fast, and they did a lot of things with that they didn't want to let it go. And right now there's kind of been a mix. You see some newer bodies out there, but a lot of people still do run the old ones. I don't know, maybe PJ can you put anything, because your Toby would probably know for sure, but sometimes when they can figure things out with the old body, they really don't want to change from that, right?
PJ must have disappeared on us. I don't know.
No, I'm here.
Yeah,
Dan is spot on.
Oh.
It is.
Yeah, Majeski ran a Fusion. A Mustang at Freedom Factory then had a Fusion at the Snowball Derby, so reverted back to the old body.
And that's because they try to make the most of what they have, and Toby will put the best ammo forward for whichever the race is. You're in a box with whichever series is running something, and guys don't like change, believe it or not. So yeah, you have to kind of play within the box of each division or each series and work with wherever your advantage is. There sometimes are weight breaks and things like that too that they're going to want to have.
Charles, are you watching some racing locally down there that are running old style bodies yet? Those old Camaro bodies and stuff?
Well, no, the supers run, and the pros seem to run those, what they call that, the Chevy SS, but the late model stocks now, they pretty much all migrated to the new, Camaros, Mustangs, and Camry body, Camry noses, and so, but still, like, my usual track I go to is New Smyrna, and they're all, the supers and pro late models there are pretty much still running that old body from what I call maybe the 2010s. So I'm just curious they kept making those. I guess 5 stars, they keep producing them. So I guess they're going to stay with them for a while until they stop.
Yeah, they're there, I think, but a lot of time those teams have run that style for so long, and they know there's things you can do to a body that makes your car goes faster. And a lot of times you'll really sit on the dirt side where they get twisted around and stuff, and they'll do things on the body there where maybe you can't do that with the new style. So it's a new way of figuring all that out, all the aero part of it. And a lot of it is just, I think they've run that so long, and it's so hard to change for them unless they're forced to do it. And I'm not sure you want to force everybody to go buy a new body, so that's kind of where you're stuck, where they're at least letting them all compete together now.
That's exactly it. And actually, if you see some pictures sometimes of super lates, if you get a photographer that gets a head-on shot as it's coming down the straightaway, you can see that it skews off to the right there. The back end kind of skews to the right. A lot of guys are mounting their bodies that way to try to grab that air on the the spoiler as it's coming down the street.
Unbelievable.
And one last thing before I go, I noticed that the Cars Tour is going to be at Cordele, Georgia next year, so I know Earnhardt Jr. wanted to go there, so I guess he might be racing there when they go there in April.
100%. That's exactly it.
Oh, very good. Charles, thanks for listening down in Jacksonville, Florida. We do appreciate that. And for being a regular, that's pretty awesome. We're going to sneak away. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. Plus potted trees you can decorate now and plant in the spring. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
And now, all trees and wreaths are 50% off until they are gone.
The checkered flag is waved over the racing season at the Fair Park in Plymouth. Congratulations to the champions, Brad Miller, Will Source, Travis Schmidt, and Ben Schmidt. Plymouth Dirt Track Racing thanks all the drivers and pit crews for their ongoing dedication. The loyal, dedicated track workers are the best at what they do every week. A big thank you also to the many businesses for their sponsorships, and of course the fans who make it all possible. The green flag will wave for another season next spring. We'll see you there.
It's another primetime matchup when the Packers meet the Seahawks Sunday in Seattle. Doug Russell is live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook at 3. Kickoff at 7:20 on your home for the Green Bay Packers. 97.3 The Game.
Welcome back. Ty Majeski, as we all know, skipped a press conference in Charlotte. He lives in Neenah and was supposed to be in Charlotte for a press conference and skipped it so he could vote.
It was actually media day before the championship race. It was like NASCAR media day, which they schedule on election day for some reason.
It's when Fox gets all their video hits and stuff.
Okay.
Because they can't do it at the track when the rest of us did it on media day, so they had to have their own.
When NASCAR says you got to be at a media day, you better be there or you get fined. And I don't care if we're going to make a vote for the next president of the United States or not. They are more important than you voting. And if you don't believe that, Ty Majeski, by staying home and voting, was fined $12,500. He took it in front of the arbitrators, and NASCAR's fine was upheld this week. Ty looks to me like one of the good guys, and it's making NASCAR look stupid yet again. Although, if anybody had asked me in advance what I thought would happen, this business about it's easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission. NASCAR was not going to go along with anything other than the way they wanted it to be right here. And $12,000 later, I guess Ty understands that now, right?
And Brian, right? The people that say, well, you should have early voted. He didn't really know he was going to be in the championship until after early voting ended, right?
Right, yeah, and that's the thing behind it. And, other people are going to say, well, it's your constitutional right. Well, NASCAR came back and said that Ty never told them that was the reason why he was staying there. If he would have said that, they would have made sure he would have got to Charlotte and then gotten back home before the polls close here at 8 o'clock kind of deal.
And part of the confusion there was Ty thought that ThorSport was communicating that to NASCAR, and ThorSport thought that Ty was communicating that to NASCAR.
Right. So that's the only reason why I think the penalty was upheld, was because of that little caveat in there, because otherwise NASCAR could have been in a big pickle if they try to find someone for that. So that's NASCAR's out.
Does the money come out of Ty's pocket? That's my question.
No, I don't think so. Duke Thorson will pay that. Happily, actually. He tweeted the scene from Animal House where they're in court at the end of the movie. He tweeted that scene with very little of anything else. And that was just kind of his thought on the whole thing. If you recall that movie, how they made the big fanfare in the court and the dean is sitting there screaming at them. It's pretty funny.
And hey, PJ, there might be a new patch on the uniform, right?
Yeah, actually, Allison Thorson and Ty were laughing about maybe putting the I voted patch perennially on his driver's suit.
Leave it on there. That's beautiful. The Kowicki program patch and an I voted patch right there so the world can see it. That's beautiful. Hey, this week they came up with some, they announced. They didn't do it this week, but they announced there's going to be new practice and qualifying rules this year, Brian, and I'm thinking it's got to be a pretty big deal if they, have to have a press conference just to release the information.
Well, the confusing Group A, Group B qualifying thing is gone. So we don't have to worry about figuring out why this car is in Group A and this car is in Group B. So that's gone. They've gotten away with that. Practice increased a little bit. They're going to 25-minute practice sessions, but they're still dividing them up into groups for practice. Why? I don't know, because the 50-minute thing would be great, but they don't want to do that. So they're going to have 2 different groups, 70% based on your previous race finish by the owner and 30% based on your owner points position. We'll put you in the 2 groups, and that will be for practice only. You'll get 2 25-minute sessions. Then you're going to qualify. It will be 1 lap and only 1 round at Vegas, one of the races at Phoenix, Miami, Darlington, Texas, Kansas, Charlotte, Nashville, Michigan, Pocono, St. Louis, and New Hampshire. On the short tracks, which would be Martinsville, Bristol, Dover, Iowa, and Richmond, you're going to have the same 2 groups, 25 minutes, but then you're going to have 2 laps for 1 round. So the 2-round qualifying thing is over, with the exception of super speedways. Super speedways you're not going to practice at all, with the exception of the Daytona 500. So both races at Atlanta, both races at Talladega, and the second one at Daytona, they're going to qualify. It's very similar to what they did this year. And then they're going to take the top 10 and you're going to qualify again, but it's still only 1 lap. The biggest change comes to road courses where they're going back to the group qualifying again. It's going to be 20 minutes. You're going to have 2 groups, 20 minutes each group, multiple cars on the track, and it's going to be 1 round of qualifying. And the fastest it doesn't matter what group you're in, the fastest will start on the pole. That's going to be at Chicago, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, and Charlotte on the Roval. And then they're going to have a special system at COTA because the track is reconfigured. They're running on the smaller thing.
Oh, yeah.
So COTA is going to use the same format as Watkins Glen and Charlotte in 2024, where the cars will be assigned 2 groups, 2 20-minute practices, 40 minutes total, and the COTA practice sessions will lead into the qualifying. So the Truck Series is going to run 50-minute practices for all their events. So that's different. Unlike this past year at Milwaukee, where they were only out there for 20 minutes apiece. They're going to get 50 minutes for every single race for all the cars at once, and then they're going to have the same qualifying with just 1 round. And then the Xfinity Series is also going to do the same as the Cup Series with the 2. They're going to split into 2 groups, 25 minutes each. So,
I don't know that it was broke, but what we want to do is keep making it better, I guess.
Well, the A and B thing, I think, was kind of
what was the point? They tried to make it like a dirt track, I guess.
And that didn't really have any. It didn't work out because the group, in dirt racing, they do the A and the B because the track changes with the drying out, and they put you into the heat races. Where in the Cup Series, the 3rd fastest guy in Group B could be faster than the guy in Group A, and he's going to start behind him. So it was always confusing, and nobody understood it. So I'm glad they got rid of that.
All right, that's interesting stuff. Well, before we go to this break, I just want to say Toby has sat in with PJ and will be available to talk with us after Brian does some results. There aren't a lot of results to talk about, so it's a good thing. And if you have anything specific, boy, this is like we don't get tech people since Ed died, and it's things. This is really great. We can ask Toby if there's a subject that comes up. You want to talk about bodies? He would know. Either way, we'll take a break now, come back with some results, and Toby joins us after these messages. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, Matthew, give me a hand with this tree.
Dad, let's get a real tree this year.
Hey, leave that fake tree in the box under the basement steps this year. Get a real tree from PMF Landscape on River Road in West Bend. Any kind of real tree imaginable, up to 18 feet. Plus potted trees you can decorate now and plant in the spring. A huge assortment of Christmas decorations, including wreaths in 3 sizes, cemetery wreaths, festive global hanging ornaments, bows, garland roping, and more. Stop in 7 days a week during the holiday season, have refreshments, and check everything out. How about a PMF gift certificate? The perfect gift. PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 South River Road in West Bend. Call them 262-338-8800.
Dad, our tree from PMF Landscape looks great.
And now, all trees and wreaths are 50% off until they are gone.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
The checkered flag is waved over the racing season at the Fair Park in Plymouth. Congratulations to the champions, Brad Miller, Will Source, Travis Schmidt, and Ben Schmidt. Plymouth Dirt Track Racing thanks all the drivers and pit crews for their ongoing dedication. The loyal, dedicated track workers are the best at what they do every week. A big thank you also to the many businesses for their sponsorships. And, of course, the fans who make it all possible. The green flag will wave for another season next spring. We'll see you there.
It's another primetime matchup when the Packers meet the Seahawks Sunday in Seattle.
Love steps up in Rainbow. Deep down the right side for Watson. Over the catch at the 20.
Doug Russell is live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook in 3 on your home for the Green Bay Packers. 97.3 The Game.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
Just a pair of events this past weekend, but some big money on the line for them. We'll go to Lake City, Florida. Thursday night, the All-Tech Raceway for the XR 604 Crate Nationals. That is for the 604 late models, dirt late models there. They had 101 late models show up for this event. 2 $5,000 to win preliminary features each of the 2 nights. So they had Thursday night, Michael Brown was your winner, and they did it again on Friday night, and Mark Whitener was your winner. That lined them up for last night's big 60-lap, $100,000 to win for the 604 Crate Late Models last night, and Randy Weaver was your winner. For those that watch on Flow, that is the same Randy Weaver that you see at Eldora hosting the pre- and post-race shows for the World 100 and the Dream that grabbed the big win there last night. So, wow, $100,000 for the 604 crates.
He's the guy who thunk it. 114 car, right? Dreamweaver?
That's what he used to drive. Yeah, he was in owned somebody else's car this past weekend. I didn't know the exact number, but it was not his own stuff, but it was somebody else's. The only other event of the weekend was down in DuQuoin, Illinois, inside the Southern Illinois Center for the Power Eye National Midgets, the Junior Knepper 55. Carter Sarf was your winner. Christopher Bell showed up and finished second in the midget. Then he hopped into the non-wing micro sprint, and he won that feature event. So he knocked the rust off in short order before he heads to the Chili Bowl next month. Mm-hmm. So look for Christopher Bell to be rather sporty when he shows up in Tulsa. So that is everything for this week.
On to the asphalt side of things. Pretty much just that Snowball Derby last Sunday. Stephen Nasse finished second to Caden Honeycutt. That was a hell of a battle at the end. Ty Majeski led the most laps, had the fast time, and he ended up falling to third. William Swalich was fifth. Gio Ruggiero, sixth. Sammy Smith, seventh. Getting back through the field, Luke Fenhouse started 11th and finished 11th. Bubba Pollard was 14th. Carson Quapple, 15th. Derek Thorne had some mechanical issues. He ended up 24th. And then Caden Quapple ended up getting caught up in an incident, and he finished 31st. But the other Caden that won, Caden Honeycutt, it was his first ever super late model win, and he is the 2024 Cars Tour Pro Late Model champ as well, too. He's also from Texas, so there was a big Texas contingent quite happy about that as well.
He was so excited that he won that he puked all over himself and had chunks in his beard.
Did, and I felt bad for him. That's terrible now. So all the photos of him like cheering after he gets out of the car have vomit all the way down to the waist.
I mean, couldn't somebody just give the poor guy a towel? And
they gave him a shirt to put on over that. So then,
towel it off.
By that point, everything.
Get in there and interview that guy, real nice and close.
Yeah.
He has a lot of dirt background behind him. He ran a fair amount of dirt late model stuff, and he ran a lot of IMCA stock car stuff too. So that's a dirt guy there that just won the Snowball Derby.
Trophy girl anymore, right?
Yeah, right. I didn't see her coming in there for that either.
Please comb that crap out of your beard before you start kissing the trophy girl. Jeez.
But it was a hell of a race. It really was.
Yeah, since Toby is close by there, I would like to ask. I guess just a short run wasn't really good for that 91 car because, boy, he was the dominant car all day.
Well, we knew it going in that we were struggling short run. We had a problem with the car that took up most of our practice. We ended up finding a ball joint that was bound up, and we never really got a chance to work on it. If you look at last year, short run wasn't our strong suit. Long run, the car is almost unbelievable. But we know it comes down to a short run, and they made better adjustments than what we did. And looking back at it, it's real easy to sit back and say, well, we should have done this, should have done that. Bottom line is we didn't do it, so we ended up third.
Almost surprising because he was so dominant all day long, But sometimes stuff happens, and that's pretty much what we got out of that.
Toby, we had that other caller question about the new bodies versus the old style bodies and stuff. What is the big difference? Or is it aero the big difference between the two?
Yeah, it's aero. It's aero balance. It's been going on for years. 5-Star came up with a new body, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Everybody started switching to them. And then everybody decided that they weren't as good, and everybody switched back. So 5-Star did a big wind tunnel test with both bodies, the new and the old, on the same chassis, and they came up with the roof on the new body is 4 inches wider or 4.5 inches wider than old body. So they come up with, to balance it out, it works better with a bigger spoiler, like a 64.5-inch spoiler. Well, everybody in the country lets them run that, except the ASA Stars Tour. I won't say why. I got a pretty good idea why, and they about all had it that they were going to let it go. And then we went to Winchester, and that car we ran there had a new body on it, and it was really fast. I don't believe anybody probably maybe could have drove it other than Ty, because it was loose, but it was fast. So now they're in the process of starting the ABC committee over. ASA is in charge of that, which I commend them for, and try to get this all worked out. We have one car that has a new body. That's the one we run at Slinger. We ran it at that Bigley with the big spoiler. But when we won the Slinger Nationals, we won without the big spoiler. So it's
like a crapshoot, huh?
Yeah. Well, what body? We're planning on rebuilding a car. What body do we put on it? I would say if they allow the bigger spoiler, we'll probably put the new body on. Tie fields are really free, being loose, but I don't know.
Interesting.
I got the,
sorry, hold on. There we go.
What's that? I bumped it. A guy, Ty says, some of the guys say it's really tight in traffic. Well, for whatever reason, we're sideways, so.
Boy, so many things to consider on this deal. I wonder if they, the fella that called from Jacksonville, Florida, said that he didn't see the newer bodies running in Florida, which there's only a couple tracks he's talking about. New Smyrna is probably one of them, and Freedom Factory is the other one in Pensacola. So I can't imagine that they don't let the upgraded bodies run at those tracks. But
well, then there's the other body, the AR body. So there's people that say if they allow the big spoiler on the 5-star body, well, then they got to allow the AR body, the Revolution body they call it, which is what Michael Bilderbach had on his Big 8 car. You know, and they're
superior or something.
Huh?
Was it really a good body? I didn't recall how.
Oh, it looks like a goddamn spaceship.
Well, sometimes these cars are.
But there's people that are leveraging. You know, one is Freddie Query, Ricky Brooks. It was legal at that Freedom Factory race, but nobody put one on because I don't know we don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I mean, personally, we won't put one on because 5-star. I've been 5-star since we started this. Since I started racing, and I don't care how good it is. We ain't putting one on. You know, they've offered it to us.
You're loyal. That's why.
All right. We're going to sneak away. We'll do another scheduled break, and we'll be back with either your questions or we got some things that we haven't talked about yet. We'll be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Miller Sales and Service of Random Lake is where to go for a trailer no matter what you're hauling. Tom and Jerry Miller have been selling trailers from B&B, Trophy, and Bravo for over 50 years. Quality and integrity is what put them on the map on the corner of 57 and K since 1939. Home of the number 89 dirt and asphalt cars of Brad Miller. That's Miller Sales and Service. It's where to go for a trailer just 20 minutes north of Milwaukee. Call them 920-994-4358.
The checkered flag is waved over the racing season at the Fair Park in Plymouth. Congratulations to the champions, Brad Miller, Will Source, Travis Schmidt, and Ben Schmidt. Plymouth Dirt Track Racing thanks all the drivers and pit crews for their ongoing dedication. The loyal, dedicated track workers are the best at what they do every week. A big thank you also to the many businesses for their sponsorships, and of course the fans who make it all possible. The green flag will wave for another season next spring. We'll see you there.
Upco from the left circle with a shot. He scores! After a quick one-game homestand, the Admirals are back on the road Sunday when they travel to Rockford to take on the IceHawks. Stick handle around one, goes to the net, save made, Wolf Alstead. Now it's a goal for the Admirals. Pre-game coverage at 3:30, face-off at 4 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back to the program. Lovely of you to join us. Paul waiting to talk to us on the telephone here from Racine. Hi, Paul.
Happy Sunday, everybody. I guess I read recently where for the race, the All-Star race at Bowman Gray, Charlotte Motor Speedway is going to be where they take the cars limitations. And
yeah,
I guess,
the inspection's going to be done in Charlotte before they take them up there. And, you know, they couldn't cheat the cars up between the two, right?
Well, I guess what I want to know is, Toby's on. Toby, can you share a little bit about, like, checking cars pre and post? Like, do you have to be there for both, or can you just send a crew person there? And what are they looking for?
Well, I would say I don't have to be there, but it's most crew chiefs when you're there, you want to be there, so if there's a question or they suspect something, you can head it off before it happens,
Yeah, there you go. Okay, that's it in a nutshell. Since all of a sudden the phones are lighting up, Rick in Pewaukee waiting to talk to us. Hi, Rick.
Hey, good morning, Todd.
Hi.
Got a quick question for you. What's going on with NASCAR and Road America?
Brian would be on top of this one. Brian, you got a quick answer for him?
Yeah, nothing really right now. NASCAR's moved on to their other things. We were told that it was just because of the Olympics, but
yes,
it has a lot to do with how NASCAR operates too. When they bring just their support series along and not the Cup Series, you're kind of like a second class citizen, so to speak, from what I've heard from people over there. So, they don't bring all the people there. They don't bring the media people there. They don't bring their full set of people, and the tracks are responsible for a lot of their own stuff. And for a facility like Road America to bring in that, it just didn't make a lot of sense in the end there.
Geez, I heard this week a good one that something about NASCAR told the track that they didn't have enough bathrooms and that every single hauler had to have its own porta potty, and the bill for that should have been picked up by Road America, and Road America sent the bill to NASCAR. Is this a bunch of BS or what is it?
Yeah, that is. I mean, it's more of a scheduling thing. There's only a couple dates that fit for NASCAR at Road America, and I believe this year or 2025, that particular weekend is when they're going to be at the Brickyard. So Road America has such a full schedule. It's more like NASCAR has to fit into their schedule for the Xfinity Series.
I think
they're not going to move a lot of things around for the Xfinity Series. Cup Series they might, but not the Xfinity Series.
And the big thing there is the bridge isn't burned. I mean, there's not bad blood between NASCAR and Road America. They will, if they want to come back and they can make it work, they'll do it.
Right. It's just gonna, they're not gonna move a whole bunch of things around just to bring an Xfinity Series race in, which doesn't bring the revenue now that you've had the Cup Series. There's a difference between before and after as well. If before you had the Cup Series, you're always thinking, all right, we're going to try to build up to this point. You actually had them now. Now it's kind of the downfall on the other side of it. So you're not going to move, your marquee events around just to try to fit them in. And NASCAR's schedule is very tough as well. And there was a lot of talk before that of going to the Milwaukee Mile, and now that isn't a possibility either right now. It's kind of on the outside looking in. So there's a lot of moving parts, and that's where we're at.
All right. Thanks for the call, Rick. We appreciate that. A few things happened. Ryan Blaney married his longtime girlfriend, Gianna. If it's pronounced like our basketball player, it's Yana, I guess, right? But either way, they got married on the 12th in Aspen, Colorado, and he had a tuxedo with a fur collar. That's important, I'm told. Trackhouse Racing is going to bring out, and I don't really know all my numbers here, a GT 3.R at Daytona. It's going to run in the GTD Pro class. Why is any of this important? Because Connor Zilich is going to drive the car, and Shane Van Gisbergen is going to be one of the drivers, along with Scott McLaughlin and some guy named Ben Keating. And that's going to be at the 24 Hours of Daytona, which is not all that far in the future away either.
Guy named Ben Keating. He's actually a pretty good road racer.
Yes, he is. Very accomplished.
I have to defer to you guys, because that's out of my lane right there, and I don't like to talk about that. Xfinity teams are required to pay Ford $1.3 million just to run a Ford, and all you get is a car, no parts, no data. So this team, which I never heard of, called Viking, is now 38 car in Xfinity, is now going to have Matt DiBenedetto in an RCR Chevrolet. Is that? I guess he doesn't require that much money. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We'll stick around on the internet for a little while here, if any of you want to do that. For all of us, remember, we're going to be back for our final show next week here on Fox Sports 920, and like we want everybody to remember, real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our engineer is Matt Losey, and for all of us, Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.